Hey there, YouTube. This is True LO Patriot once again, bringing you this video. This this group called Grassroots Army, they're on YouTube, and I look at a lot of their content. I'm always amazed on how they can get so much information. Um, it's mind-boggling. They basically focus in on the school board meetings, and I tell you, when you go to when you go to their channel, I mean, they just have tons of this stuff, and I'm amazed on how rampant this stuff is in the school system. But here's another what I like to call tidbit of how the indoctrination is in school. Listen to what this I believe she's retired, this teacher. I may be wrong, but listen to what she says about how they're pushing the curriculum and how they're blatantly doing it with no regard. They don't care. This is why I say that these people, that they're the ones that are pushing this kind of stuff, they're pedophiles. I'm sorry, I have to say it like that, because there's no other way when you're that blatant and that forceful to want to push an agenda on children. But again, I'll leave a link to this video in the description, and by all means, go subscribe to that channel, Grassroots Army. Also, if you can, subscribe, give it a thumbs up on my channel, and subscribe and pass it along. But here we go.
I am a resident of Maple Grove, and I'm sharing a letter on behalf of an Osseo Schools elementary staff member. This spring, I was required to attend a department training called Creating Gender Inclusive Schools. The training began with a statement made by a staff member that included the statement, "No matter what the pushback, we are not going back," regarding...
You see that? No matter what the pushback, we are not going back. And I cut her off too quick, but she meant to say regarding the gender inclusion approach in the district. That goes to show you how the Board of Education are putting people in positions to tell other people, without even knowing how they feel about this and how they stand on it. It's like, no, we're gonna push this, and no matter what the pushback, we're not going back on our stance. In other words, it's basically telling parents, fuck you, we will fucking change your children, into the sexually perverse people that we want in society. And I'm not saying that gay people are perverse, don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is they're pushing this sexual perversion on kids because that's what they want. They want sexual perversion. That's why I say that the people that are for this, that are pushing this, just by that statement alone, what she said, no matter what the pushback, we are not going back, that is perverse. Straight up. That is like a pimp grabbing a girl from the street and saying, you are going to be a prostitute. No matter the pushback, you're going to fucking do it. But let's continue.
Regarding the gender inclusion approach in our district. Some of the things that were presented by the Welcoming Schools group included the following. We were instructed to discuss our definition of gender. I immediately felt uncomfortable because I had a feeling that if I gave the definition of gender that I agree with, I would be labeled as judgmental, because the first agreement given for the meeting that night was to replace judgment with curiosity. There would be no time for me to explain further that I care about everyone, even when I disagree with their belief system. We were given the definition of gender according to this speaker. Gender is determined by time and space, boy, girl, a blend of both, or neither, none of which were based on biology.
You see that, the way they're changing words? That's why you see so many of these kids on these college campuses, when they get interviewed and they ask them, what is a woman? What is this? What is that? They don't have a straight answer, because the definitions that are given to them make no fucking sense whatsoever. So their thing is change the definition of things, use different words instead, and make them be the messengers to push it on society, beginning in the house. It's just straight up perversion. But let's continue.
A statement was also made that because of white supremacy, gender expansiveness has been suppressed. But now, because of the media, students feel free to express themselves. Hearing the mindset that exists at the upper level of our school district showed me that as a staff member, I am being pressured to teach concepts in direct conflict with my beliefs, which are not in alignment with that perspective of gender.
And just let me bring it up real quick. You seen what she just said, that they told them that to use the term white supremacy. You know, this whole movement on everything that's being pushed out and people not agreeing with it, they're labeling people white supremacists. That's like the biggest fucking thing now, white supremacists. I've said it before in my videos. I'm Cherokee Indian, Spanish, born and raised in the Bronx. And from the way I was raised to what I've been through in my life, not that I want any confrontation with anybody. I really don't care. Not because I'm scared, but on their part, so they don't get their ass handed to them. But if somebody came up to me and called me a white supremacist because of what I believe in, I mean, I would just totally laugh in their fucking face. It's just fucking stupid. You know? I mean, I've seen these white liberals, you know, call black conservatives white supremacists. It's funny. You know, it's fucking, it's moronically hilarious. It truly is. But that's the kind of indoctrination that they're also trying to give to these adults that are against it. As she's reading in the letter of how they will label people if they don't agree with that ideology, this pedophile perversion that they're trying to indoctrinate. But let's continue.
Most concerning from this presentation was the depiction of a gender snow person. The head represents gender identity, what you know yourself to be. The middle represents sexual orientation, whom you love or are attracted to. The speaker said that for our youngest learners, we can use the words romantically attracted to if the word sexual is going to be a problem. And that even preschoolers know the difference between love for a mom or dad and love for someone else. The bottom of a snow person represents the sex assigned at birth, your boy, girl, or intersex.
That right there in itself is just totally wrong. Like I stated in my last videos about how children, how they see things in their mind, they're saying that they will tell the younger children on how to look at things differently, how they could be attracted, you know, in a different way. That's not exactly the way it's supposed to be. They're basically lying to these kids and making them believe that it's okay if you think like this, because this is what it really is. And it's not. It's a lie. It's a straight up lie. Let kids be kids. They'll figure it out. I've always said that. Let kids be kids. They'll figure it out. And I'm sorry about the noise in the background. Those are my dogs playing, so. But let's continue.
It was stated that all of these are non-binary. He also said, yes, we are going to talk about this with young students. This is disturbing to be talking about romantic relationships with kids who are as young as preschool, not what the schools are intended for.
Look at that. You know, when people come out and say that anybody that doesn't vote Democrat is a racist or whatever the case is, just on this topic alone, I'm just baffled on when the fuck did the Democratic Party and the leftist party, and I've always said, and I'm pretty sure there's some people on the right that are secretly into this shit too, when did they decide to, from the time when I was going to school, that any kind of sexual exploitation was just totally wrong, to now, okay, now we can do it. We're going to do it. We're going to talk to the young kids about sex. And this is not just, you know, they're not talking about the birds and the bees here. No, they're definitely not. They're basically like I said, they're trying to, they're sexualizing these children. They're putting all these sexual thoughts in their head. You know, and that, like I've said before, and I'll say it again, is just wicked and it's evil. But let's continue.
The next topic was pronouns. The presenter started by telling us that some people are now using all the pronouns. We were told that this is not a big deal, that students feel safer at school than at home. He referenced a Google form that students could complete where they would indicate the pronouns and name that they want to be called at school and the pronoun or name to use with their parents. Is this allowed without parents' knowledge? Regardless, is it now our job to keep secrets? Why are we undermining the family and the influence of parents and or guardians? Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is John Gepp, and I'm a Maple Grove resident and an Osseo School dad, sharing the second half of the letter previously read from a district member. We were told that using our pronouns makes us a safe person, and we should ask, what pronouns do you use? What happens if, as a staff member, choose not to include my pronouns in email or introductions, or do not agree with asking students this question? We were told
that is just, it's just diabolical for them to say it, you know, using pronouns makes you a safe person. You know, when you see all these college students trying to disrupt like meetings or like town hall discussions, and they start screaming and yelling and crying and this and that, you know, people will come out and say, well, you know, you've made it unsafe for them, or they feel threatened. And my thing is like, well, what the fuck are you doing there? You know, to now start telling people use pronouns because that'll make you seem like a safe person. Really? So let me get this straight. A boy or a girl is walking down the street. Somebody wants to attack them. Okay, let's not even use the crazy scenarios, because it turns my stomach just thinking about it. People being attacked or kidnapped or whatever. Let's just say a boy or girl's walking down the fucking street. Some fucking loose dog is just barreling down the street, ready to fucking attack them and bite the shit out of them. And that boy or girl is running for their lives, and happens to run into someone else. Is that person going to ask them before they ask for help, what's your fucking pronouns? Or are they going to say, here's another person, I need help, and that person helps them? Isn't that feeling safe? Does anybody see what it is I'm trying to say? Does anybody understand what it is they're trying to say? In order to feel safe, in order to make you feel safe, you need to know somebody's pronouns. In order for anybody to look at another person and feel safe with that person, they have to use pronouns. What they're basically doing, this is what I said, this is run by fucking pedophiles, is that they're using how can I say? They're using consenting words in order to draw kids in. They're using safe words, basically what I'm trying to say. So now you have an adult that feeds off that and says, well, you know what? I can get at this child if I just tell them that, you know, I want to be, my pronouns are he, she, or this, that, or whatever it is. So now that kid who's already been indoctrinated in school looks at this adult and says, well, they're using pronouns, they got to be a safe person. And it's like that gotcha fucking moment. Now I got one. It's disgusting. That's how they do it. And the reason why, like the lady stated earlier, that no matter the backlash, no matter the blowback, they're not going back. Because these are evil, diabolical fucking people. They're wicked and they're evil. And it's a demonic practice. They're using safe words, and they want people to oblige by that and say, well, now you got to be part of it. You have to do the same thing. And these are people that are uncomfortable with it. They're like, fuck no, I'm not feeding into this. It's wrong on every level. Me and my boys, we used to have a joke when something was wrong. We would say, this shit is wrong on 9 planets and in 15 different fucking galaxies. And this is what this whole ideology is, the same thing. It's just wrong on 9 different fucking planets. You know? But in their eyes, they keep pushing. And it starts from the top. You know, when Biden pulled that fucking trick where he put up the gay pride flag in front of the White House before the American flag. I mean, Obama, it started with fucking Obama. You know? It started with him. You know, his administration. Bringing all this shit in. Trump started cooling it down. And even though there's a big battle right now, you know, where a lot of governors are fighting back, I mean, they're just like, no, it's not going to happen. I'll bring it up again, like, you know, Ron DeSantis in Florida. I mean, there's people, you know, bitching and moaning. We got to leave now because you're making it unsafe for our kids. And my answer to that is go kick fucking rocks. You made it unsafe for your kid from the fucking beginning when you brought him into that shit. You made it unsafe for them. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you did that. But let's continue.
Told we need to become fluent in speaking the language of talking about kids of all genders, because here in our school, everyone gets to tell their own story.
Okay, if that's true, then why are they not talking about being straight? I'm sorry, but last I checked, there are still on the planet, I don't know, 99.9% straight people. At least, I mean, last I checked, there's got to be at least that fucking high. Since when do they say that we got to make it safe for all these kids? As if everybody in the school is part of this. They're not. They want to make everybody in the school part of it. My son graduated, and I spoke to him, I believe it was yesterday, but he told me a few months ago, before school was out, of what they were trying to do in the school. And this was in Florida. And I asked him, what happened? And he said it straight out. He said the kids fought back. They said no. And the school had to cool their shit down. Because they were bringing in some people that wanted them to get into this whole transgender fucking ideology. And they were just like, no. He said they brought them all into the auditorium and started trying to give them all these instructions on how things were going to change. And he said everybody booed. He said there was about 6 kids that they were referring to, that I believe he said they had them on stage, like trying to make a spectacle of them. Poor kids, in my opinion. But that basically all the teachers winded up doing was putting those kids in a position not to get mocked, but to see that everything that they believe in, it's not what the rest of the school believed in. So they basically used them, and it's sad that these adults would do this to these kids. So that's what they want in the schools. That's why Donald Trump was right. School choice. And in all honesty, even before Donald Trump was even president, when I was a kid back home in New York, I mean, a lot of people were doing school choice with private schooling. It was just a little more expensive back then. Now, with the age of technology, people could have their kids study at home, which is great. But that's another topic that we'll definitely pick up. And I hope that more and more people do. I know quite a few people now that are homeschooling their kids. They're just pulling them out of school, and it's kind of rough in the beginning, but they're doing it. So it might be something everyone listening to this and watching this video might want to consider. But let's continue.
Is this really true? Do we all get to tell our story? Do I have the freedom without repercussions, to discuss my personal views with students and staff in the school? I don't think so. I wonder about the people we serve in our schools who hold non-judgment care and concern for all people, yet will not affirm these beliefs. I wonder how many students will feel like I do, uncomfortable speaking up because our views of gender and sexuality do not fit this new definition. As a staff member, I am being told that if we do not affirm these choices, we are labeled as hateful and judgmental. This presentation truly impacted me in a negative way. Not only does the content come into direct conflict with my personal beliefs, but I am also concerned about the damage it will have on children in our schools. What about the families' trust in us when they send their kids to school? In my opinion, elementary teachers should model and teach what it means to be respectful, kind, a good student, and a good friend. We should teach how to get along with one another and work together as a team. We care deeply about the well-being of each and every student and are tasked with teaching a solid foundation of reading, writing, and math. It is a complex job that does not need the added burden of discussing gender and sexual identity. In addition, why should children be exposed to these ideas at a young age from someone other than their parents? Even our family life curriculum has an opt-out option. Where's the opt-out option for the items described in the LGBTQIA+ history and culture resolution? I am baffled why Osseo area district or Osseo area schools is putting significant time and resources into this topic. Approximately 50% of our students are not proficient in reading, and the same is true for math. Our focus should be on improving instruction so that each and every student leaves our schools with reading, writing, and math skills they need to achieve their dreams. District leaders should be looking closely at the schools where our students are making aggressive growth in these areas and spend time and energy and money necessary to further these efforts rather than planning the next move to spread LGBTQIA+ messages. Thank you.
And there you go. You know, like I said, this organization, Grassroots Army, they put a ton of information out on the internet. And like I said, I'm always baffled how they get so much information in all these videos. That's what they mainly focus on. And you would think, well, that's a repeat from this one, from that one. They are the only channel that I see this kind of information. I mean, you'll see snippets on different news networks and stuff, but never anything like what they have. And as far as I can recall, I don't think I've ever seen any of their content on a different platform. So you might want to subscribe to their channel. Like I said, they're very informative. It mostly deals with this. You'll be amazed, because people look at this and be like, well, how much of this stuff is going on? You think it's going on in one area, in one state, in one county. But the videos that they put out, I mean, it's obviously happening in a lot more schools than people know. I mean, I spoke to a friend of mine that I've known for ages, and she told me a story, I believe it was last year, that she realized her 15-year-old son, he was always tired. She said for about a week straight, for some odd reason, all the boy did was go to school, come home. He didn't really hang outside. He would play his video games, but very smart kid. And she noticed that he was, for about a week straight, he was waking up late and he was tired, and she needed to find out, like, what's going on. Everybody goes to bed at a certain time, and he's never, out of energy. So, she had to confront him and say, have you been up playing video games? And no. And she said that she knew he wasn't, because he would play them loud, so there's no reason, that's not the way he was. So then he confessed to her that the school, he was failing in one grade. Now this was in the Bronx. He was failing in one of his grades, and they had options on what extracurriculum classes he can take, and he wanted to take, I believe, I think it was like some kind of wood shop class or something like that, but they told him no. So what they did, they basically bought like these real life baby dolls, and they were giving them to the boys. They had to change the diaper and feed them at a certain time throughout the night and stuff. So that's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. So when he told her, I mean, it just totally fucking pissed her off. And she goes, "What the fuck? You're only 15. Why are they teaching you this? Like, why are they teaching you how to be a parent at 15? Like, what's going on?" So she went, the next day to the school. She said when she got there, she ran into about 15 other mothers that were there to bitch about the same thing because they did it to their sons. So basically, they protested and they fucking shut it down. But this is what these school systems are fucking doing in these liberal fucking states. Behind the parents' backs, against their will, with no consent, they're telling their children, this is what you're gonna do. We're gonna pussyfy the men. We're gonna empower the women, but then we're gonna tell the women to cut off their breast and become men, and we're gonna tell the men, cut off your penis and get a vagina. What the fuck is going on? It's disgusting, and it's evil. And like I said, I'm going to keep putting this stuff out. There's a lot more people doing it. I'm going to keep doing it. And I pray to God that a lot of these people wake up and say, this is not right. I need to stop. Especially when it comes to the kids. It's not right. These adults are telling other adults, you can't tell me how to live my life. Oh, but it's okay for you to tell my child how to change their life. I don't fucking think so. I don't think so. But anyway, I hope you liked this video. I'll leave a link in the description. Please remember to subscribe, comment, share, thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. I'm trying to get this channel up and going. And as always, like I said, stay vigilant, keep praying, and pray for each other. Peace.